You see the air unit? Okay, got the pursuit vehicle in, well, kind of in sight. Okay, pulling into residential. Here it is. Looks like they're just tracking right now. Blacked out, yep. Well, driving erratically. So, Jack, it looks like they're in tracking mode. I'm just listening to the chopper right now. Stolen vehicle. Driving blacked out and erratically, obviously. The air unit might be trying to get units in position for this. What did you say, Jim? Yeah. Nope. You don't see any units, right? Oh. There was two similar looking trucks. Yep. Yep, I got it. Wrong way. But do you see any flashing lights coming this way? Okay. Blacked out. Right turn on Rosecrans. Yeah, he doesn't want the freeway. Turning into residential. Yeah. You don't see anyone even moving in? Wow. Well, he's picking up speeds. South on Pioneer. Oh, there's a, I saw a sheriff's unit there at that intersection. And you have the big sheriff's helicopter on location now too. Because it was Sky Knight, right? Or was it the A-Star the whole time? Oh, okay. I thought it was Sky Knight from Lakewood. Jim, we should, right? For he wants to know if we can go till 7:30. Yeah. Yeah, we have enough fuel for. Yes, we can. Westbound, Alondra. Yeah, Sheriff's is in the area. Yep, I'm starting to see all the units pop up. Picking up speed, about 80 now. Oh, that was a spike trip attempt. And getting on the 605. Seeing if CHP is going to re-engage. Jack or Booth, you guys gonna hit us? How much time do you think we got, Jim? How much time do you think we got? Okay. You want to try and get back to Whiteman? You want to do fastest turnaround to try and get back to this? Okay. We're going to follow this to El Monte and see if it takes us there, and then land at El Monte. He's taking a transition road. Southbound 5 now. Sorry, what was that, Jack? Okay. Still waiting for CHP to engage here. Sheriff Air Unit over the pursuit.
I want to point out that the CHP has taken over this pursuit. That's what we know right now. Have you seen, Desmond, this car make too many erratic moves yet? It seems like, you know, they've been going fast, but about 80 miles an hour, and the lights are off. But other than that, anything too erratic at this point?
At one time, we heard some of the radio chatter with the helicopter from the sheriff's deputies that was calling out to the dispatchers, keeping their apprised of every movement. At one point, he was on the wrong side of a street. I say he. We don't know if this is a male or a female driver, but I believe they did verify that there is only one person inside. So at one point, they were on the wrong side of the street briefly, and some erratic U-turns and whatnot, but I haven't heard about blowing through any red lights or anything like that. They had actually authorized spike strips earlier because I think his movements were kind of starting to make a bit of a pattern. He was kind of going in a circular motion when he was kind of around the Norwalk Downey area. So they did authorize spike strips, but they were not able to get any officers in place, and then he got back on the freeway. So now it's really just going to be up to CHP how far they're going to take this. So we still just have that spotlight. As I widen out, you don't see any of the CHP units yet at this point. Just going to have to see what happens now that we're getting into Orange County as well. They're going to have to do some more talking. You know, it started in LA County, now it's going to Orange County. It was going to be LA CHP. We haven't seen, you know, them seem to be in any hurry to get behind this vehicle. So just going to have to see how this one plays out as we are southbound on the 5 down towards Santa Fe Springs and then into Orange County.
And you can see just how quickly this driver is going between traffic there, real close to motorcyclists. No headlight on at this point in time, although it appears there might be just some of those driving lights, but not the full-blown headlights in this stolen pickup truck. The driver behind the wheel going fairly fast, almost slowing down here, going under an overpass, but then picking up speed, has gone serene all the way from the left-hand side, typically the HOV lane, all the way over to the right and to the shoulder as well. So a lot of erratic driving from this pickup driver, stolen pickup. CHP, we're told, soon to engage, but overhead at this point in time, we have LA County Chopper and the Sheriff's Department overhead providing that night sun. And you got to think that that driver knows that they are being pursued by police with that night sun directed on them. And obviously, once they get the CHP units on there, we'll really get an idea if this person is going to continue the chase or not.
Yeah, and again, we're here on KCAL 9 News right now and streaming on CBSN Los Angeles. Jeff Bond along with Serene Branson here, and Desmond Shaw for us in Sky 9 following this pursuit. This car that started as a stolen vehicle, we're told, in LA County and now making his way to Orange County. And it sure is dark out there. Oh, it looks like he just turned his headlights on and off. Did you see that, Desmond?
Yeah, the lights are back off again, and this is not the first time that this has happened. They were talking about, they made a point of acknowledging that a lot earlier. The majority of the time, before we had gotten overhead, this driver was driving with no lights on, and at night, no lights, and it's a black vehicle on top of it. Now, here, let's widen out. We finally got CHP involved. So you see the flashing lights there from CHP. And they actually just brought their helicopter in as well. They keep their helicopters out of Fullerton Airport, which we're passing by right now. And so they may be coming to relieve the sheriffs. I'm not sure they're going to keep two helicopters overhead for a stolen vehicle pursuit, but we'll just have to see what happens. So they got it covered from both the ground and the air now. But yeah, the light's out. Let's see what CHP decides to do with this one.
And this is going to be a situation where if they're on the highway, they're going highway speeds. You see that 84 miles an hour. Really, a pit maneuver is not going to be an option. This is much too dangerous at these speeds. So for the viewers that are tuning in thinking that this might be an opportunity for CHP to do that pit maneuver, they would not do that at these highway speeds because they could very easily lose control. That's a large, full-size pickup truck that could do a lot of damage to a lot of people on the freeways. So at this point in time, there would not be any sort of option to do a pit maneuver going pretty close to those cars there. Erratic driving for sure without its headlights on. You never really understand why they do that. We've done so many chases, Serene, where we see the driver turning on and off the lights. Oh, it looks like he's getting off to an exit. Des, let's get you back up here. This is an exit, I understand, right?
Yeah, let's see here. I thought he was going to be taking, this is going to be the eastbound 91, and this is good news for us, at least for good coverage, because if he was going to continue onto the southbound 5, it was going to get really complicated. You've got restricted airspace there for Disneyland, and we would have to climb up. But now that he's going eastbound on the 91, we'll more easily be able to keep this for you. And this is now basically 100% CHP's pursuit. The helicopter from the sheriff's deputies, which was doing a really good job of keeping track of this blacked out vehicle over the Norwalk Lakewood area, has backed out, and so you see CHP on the ground, and that's now their helicopter overhead as well. So they are 100% in control of this pursuit now as we get into Orange County. And yeah, still blacked out, up to 90 miles an hour we're showing here at these speeds. It's just really nerve-wracking to watch, especially as he comes up along the right side of people's cars. If they don't have some kind of technology warning them about blind spots, it would just be so easy for someone to merge right into this guy and cause a huge accident. So we're in Anaheim. Looks like he's going to be getting off the freeway now, and let's see which direction he goes.
Well, this is obviously dangerous no matter what. Thankfully, it's all kind of going in one direction, but as we get onto a surface street here, we've got a dark vehicle. It is dark out, and these are lower speeds. And oftentimes, Serene, we see somebody who has just gone highway speeds not really slow down the surface streets because they're used to putting 50, 60, 70, 80, or in this case 90 mile an hour speeds, and then they hit those side streets, and those are usually about 35, 40 miles per hour.
Yeah, he is slowing down. He made a right-hand turn, and now he appears to be turning into, is this a parking lot or more of a residential? It's a residential or commercial area at this point.
West Grayson. This is going to be in Anaheim. And you just wonder if something like this, if they're trying to get to some area that they're familiar with.
Right.
That does happen often. We see them trying to get into neighborhoods that they know, maybe even try to get to their home. We don't know if that's the case here, but obviously slowed down quite a bit. This appears to be an older model truck. It looks pretty well used, Des. I'd say that was a pretty well used truck.
Yeah, just blew through a stop sign there too.
And into a cul-de-sac. Let's see, but unfortunately the ground unit backed off of this one. The second that they got off the freeway, we heard the ground unit say that they were backing out. Now here's the thing, we can see it here in this shot. He's missing the right rear tire. He's on the rim there. We saw him kind of go over the curb, and hey, you were saying well used, Jeff. This truck did not hold up well when it went kind of over the curb. It happened really quick and it was dark, but I saw that tire go over the curb, and I think that's, yeah, and I think that's where he lost it. So this is really going to hamper this suspect attempt to get away or get any kind of speed. I'm not sure if this is a rear-wheel drive truck. I don't believe they are. I believe they're front-wheel drive, because if that was rear wheel, this could really get scary for this person. But you can see still blacked out, and we're on some fairly dark streets here as we're kind of just circling around the area in Anaheim, right around the 591. You know, he went into that cul-de-sac and turned around, so you know, maybe this guy doesn't know where he's at.
Well, but at least the chase is still going on with the helicopter. This is a CHP chopper overhead with the night sun, and obviously you can see they lighten up that suspect vehicle. The person behind the wheel there wanted for stealing that pickup truck. Let's see if we can re-engage him here. There he is again. Serene, we see this all too often, just driving into these residential areas. You wonder if that's a tactic of theirs or if they're just lost. Well,
and it is really scary when we see that, because a lot of times they stop, bail on foot, and that's very scary for people living in that area, because sometimes they try to force entry or hide in yards of neighborhoods there. But again, CHP, now the air unit for the CHP following this car, we haven't seen any ground units from the CHP following this pickup truck since he exited the 91 freeway. He's blowing right through another intersection there, going around that car.
I saw some people out there too, and that's another danger you have on those surface streets, Serene, is you have pedestrians. You have people in neighborhoods that are out walking, and you certainly don't want to see any of those people get hit.
Yeah, I just saw a bicyclist in the frame of the shot right there.
We get the sparks coming there.
There
Look
they
at all
are.
the sparks.
Wow.
Yeah, starting to come out because he's got no rubber. You've got metal on asphalt here as we are westbound on Orangethorpe. I believe we're going to be going over the 5 freeway again shortly. You just wonder how much longer this truck can keep up here before the truck surrenders. It's definitely going to have some difficulty maneuvering on you know, only 3 pieces of rubber, and I think it just happened when he took that curb back there. We saw the rear wheel go over, and the sparks are really flying now. It is really surprising though how long these vehicles can go when we're just talking about, you know, just the metal wheel with no rubber. It really can be surprising. Okay, underneath
we haven't seen them.
The freeway.
They might have bailed out.
Yeah, let's see.
It looks like
Let's see
he
if
came
we
to
see
a stop
him.
under the
No
overpass.
headlights. Wait, there he is, there he is. He's got the sparks coming out to the left. You can see him. You know what's so interesting is this is going to be,
miss him.
yeah, this is going to be a rear-wheel drive truck for sure. It's definitely an older model truck. So in some cases you see that front-wheel drive, if they are down to just the rim, they can get by with dragging that. But this is going to be one of the rear wheels that it needs to get traction, and there's not much traction when the tire is gone. It's just the rim, but I'm still pretty surprised, Serena, just how fast he's going.
Yeah, he's still going over 50 miles an hour with 3 wheels. We've seen the sparks continue to get worse, continue to intensify. CHP has been on him now for a while. Of course, LA County Sheriff's Department handing the baton over to the CHP as he entered into Orange County. And this all started with a report of a stolen vehicle. So we believe that the driver of this black pickup truck could be responsible for stealing this car. And as Desmond mentioned, it seems like he lost the right rear tire when he took a curb. So
yeah, it's just down to the rim.
It is, and he's continuing to go decent speeds, even as we see the sparks.
Yeah, he went all the way from the turning lane to the left, all the way through to the right side, and you get a real close-up view of that rim. It's just no rubber at all on that. Tires completely gone, and you can see he is riding on the rim. This is the driver of a stolen pickup truck. At one point in time, he was followed by CHP. We're not quite sure if CHP is still engaged or if they have backed off. We do not know the want other than this is a driver of a stolen vehicle. We do not know exactly how police came to see this vehicle and to run it as stolen, but as it gets dark, you see the fire show, the light show that is being created by that rim. Let's go back up to Desmond Shaw, tracking all of this in Sky 9. Des, this one just keeps on going.
Yeah, it sure does. And you know, Jeff, these old Toyota pickup trucks are real workhorses. We still see them all around Los Angeles, you know, loaded up with whatever, and you know, hundreds of thousands of miles these trucks go. You still see some of these running from, you know, the early 80s, and this appears to be one of those real workhorse trucks. Even though it's down to just 3 wheels, it definitely doesn't want to give up just yet. We saw behind the wheel earlier, it sure looked like that driver was kind of struggling to control to control this vehicle, and we did hear that actually Anaheim PD may be getting ready to get some of their ground units in place as well. And Westminster CHP, basically Orange County CHP in this area, they're interested in getting some ground units in place. So, and it's actually Anaheim's helicopter. We may actually be 2 law enforcement helicopters over this one at the moment. So, you know, have a lot of resources here for this stolen. Look at this, the light's off, and he's on the wrong side of the road around that curve. Fortunately, there was nobody there, or that would have ended badly. But now into another cul-de-sac.
Another cul-de-sac, yeah.
See if we can turn this truck around, and we just wish that there would have been a ground unit there in place. But that's the second time he's run into a dead end and turn around, and now into yet another cul-de-sac. Let's see. Yep, and turning around again. So this person, it sure doesn't look like they know where they're at. That's the 3rd time this has happened, and he's very fortunate that there were no authorities there to meet them, you know, at the end of that cul-de-sac. So here we go. You know, it's 30 miles an hour at least. Maybe just because he's, you know, has one less tire, he's probably not capable of getting this vehicle up to the, you know, 80, 90 miles an hour that we saw earlier, down to about 30, 40 miles an hour on surface streets in Anaheim.
Yeah, even when it was totally dark, you couldn't see anything. You know, with his lights off, we lost the car. You were able to see him because of all of the sparks flying off there. It was pretty amazing. I've never seen anything quite like that.
And you wonder if that's the reason why he got off of the highway. At one point in time, he was on the I-5 in Santa Fe Springs. You just wonder if he was starting to feel the shimmy and shake of the truck because he lost the rubber of that tire and got off so he could control it. But you see here, that's all. I mean, anytime you're riding on a rim like that, the car is going to kind of turn and tilt towards that side, and that's going to be the right side. And it seems like he is having a hard time making right-hand. Actually, he makes pretty good right-hand turns. The left-hand turns, he's really having to lean in there, and he's almost sideswiping cars on the right side of the street. This is a older model black Toyota pickup truck. This all began with a LASD involved. That's the Sheriff's Department, LA County, in trying to pull over this truck. And that was in the Lakewood division of LASD. At one point in time, CHP got involved in Santa Fe Springs, and then that was on I-5 up to about almost 90 miles an hour at one point in time, but then got off and is now going on, this is Columbine Circle, and these are residential areas and streets, and this is going to be close to Anaheim. We have, I understand, CHP chopper, Anaheim chopper as well overhead, as that truck is missing the right rear tire is gone. It's just on the rim. Let's go back up to Desmond Shaw. Des, I heard you say that you thought that he sideswiped some cars, huh?
Yeah, really briefly there, as he passed by a white vehicle, it sure looked like he clipped that vehicle, and we did just hear CHP talking about a collision, so they may, you know, go to respond there. It was just a parked vehicle. You know, somebody who parks their car on the street, unfortunately, they're going to have a pretty rude surprise when they come out to their vehicle and have to file that insurance claim, but at least nobody injured in that minor collision. But we're on La Palma and coming up on Oleander. So La Palma, a pretty major street, but not a lot of, well, I just was about to say not too much traffic, but he's going to be forced to stop at this stoplight unless he goes up on the curb. And we're just waiting to see if Anaheim PD are going to get any of their ground units in place, since this is now in their jurisdiction. CHP, they're kind of hanging around. They still have their helicopter in the air, and they have units that are following all the movements of this chase in the event that he gets back on the freeway. You'd have to think that's highly unlikely considering the circumstance now. Okay, pulling into a shopping center here, so let's see if this is where he's going to try to ditch the vehicle. You see no ground units are here. Yep, going to park the car.
Here he goes, and parking, getting out.
We'll see what he decides to do. Getting out and running running inside. Let's get to the other side of this building right here. Oh, it looks like he just dropped.
He tried to
something
get in or
underneath
something.
That
Yeah.
white. Actually, he's through the courtyard. Okay, is this a motel or
Apartment complex.
Apartment
There he is.
complex.
There he is.
We can see him
running
running
into a building. Yeah. Okay, so in between this narrow walkway and under some trees, over a fence. Okay, this is a motel, which is actually it's now the third time in 2 weeks that we've seen suspects ditch their vehicle and go around the perimeters of motels.
He's trying to climb the wall, I think.
What
Des.
is? Yeah.
A new pursuit strategy.
Yeah,
and
this is such a great
he was
job.
trying to climb the wall.
Yeah, this is such a great job of you keying in on the suspect. This is where they bailed out here at Oleander Circle, and we understand this might be a hotel. And Des, you're right, we had a pursuit that ended near a hotel just late last week. So let's get back up to you, Des, and tell us what you can see. The night sun there helping a little bit, and you're still trained on him. Good job.
Well, actually, I'm not sure that that's the suspect. I think that's going to be somebody else here. They're talking with somebody. We're getting a little bit of helicopter exhaust in the shot. Boy, yeah, this is really tough with this. Let's see if we can back off the building a little bit. Just communicating with my pilot to see if we can get a better view. But you can see that the spotlight from the authorities is kind of having a tough time of this as well. You have to wonder if he was just buying enough time to find a place like this that he could get out and try to evade the eye in the sky from law enforcement.
Well,
we see this person right here.
I don't think
but
that's
that
him.
doesn't look like the suspect.
No, because the suspect had bright white socks. He had looked like it was a black hoodie. He had black shorts. And Serena, it looked like he had long white socks on and black shoes.
Let's do some white orbits.
And this is not that
and
same
he was
person.
running.
And he was running. Although,
here he is. I think that's him. I think. Hey, pilot Ryan, tell them that they're over by the garbage. Yeah, this is definitely him, guys. Let's go forward and keep our eyes on this. We'll see if we can help out law enforcement with this. He's over by. Tell him he's by the. Is that an IHOP? I think that might be a International House of Pancakes. I just thinking from the blue roof. Okay, we're trying to help. Stand by as we try to help law enforcement here get eyes back on the suspect. This looks like the guy to me. Yeah, look at that. Trying to go for the quick change.
oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah,
that's him.
Serene,
sure is.
Yeah. Jeff and Serene, let me throw it back to you guys for a second.
Okay, let's keep this picture here. We're going to have Des key in on the shot. Of course, we always want to try to help law enforcement if we can, because this may be the situation where they are not in a position to identify the suspect, but we can. So we're going to let Des contact the authorities there and see if they can help get them in this area. Now he's starting to run across the street. We don't know the intersection, but obviously very dangerous. Hope everybody has their car doors locked. As now he's going into, well, there's somebody there. He just ran past them. That appears to be
another parking lot here.
Well, there's a sign,
Yeah,
Claim Jumper Restaurant. Okay, so then let's see if we can follow this here. This is happening live here on KCAL 9. The suspect wanted for stealing a pickup truck. There he is on the run. He ditched the vehicle. It was down to the rim, no tire at all in the right rear, and he's been on the run for about the last 3 or 4 minutes. We do understand one law enforcement chopper, either CHP or Anaheim police overhead, lighting him up, but we're of course waiting for those ground units to intercept him as Desmond Shaw is trying to get them in a position where he's going to try to climb this fence.
Hiding behind some trees right now too. It's hard to see him.
Is that police? No, it's not.
Does not look like police. We have not seen a black and white on the ground, Jeff, since the 91 freeway. There he goes. He seemed to have jumped that fence, got through those trees, and now he is in another parking lot here, continuing to run.
Okay, Des, I hear you. Are you able to help them out? Tell us.
Yeah, I think we helped him get the spotlight back on this guy, because you saw he was kind of creeping around the back of that building over by the dumpster, and they still had their spotlight on the roof. And I was honestly just kind of really lucky that I just happened to zoom in.
He's laying
on
down.
the ground.
Looks like this guy's given up.
Surrendering.
Yeah, he ran right into. Fortunately, so here's Anaheim PD.
There they
We
are.
had a lot of law enforcement that were able to swarm the area, and this guy covered a lot of ground. I'm sure he definitely ran out of energy as he was hopping over walls and fences and sprinting across the street. But fortunately, we were able to help law enforcement, and looks like they are going to be able to finally take this elusive suspect into custody.
Good job, Des. You really stayed right on top of him, and I think you helped law enforcement there.
Yeah, and that's always something that we try to do. Obviously they can't be everywhere when they are needed, and there are times where they have to kind of pull back because of danger when it comes to the public. We don't know if that's the situation here. But of course, we were able to follow this suspect all the way through to the end. I understand that Desmond Shaw, up in our chopper here, Sky 9, was able to talk to the authorities and to get them to that location where this suspect is now, spread eagle on the ground, wanted for driving a stolen pickup truck. Sheriff's Department, LA County, first saw him in the Lakewood area and tried to pull him over, then he took off. It was an older model Toyota pickup truck. It appeared to be some sort of toolbox in the back. But this man then pulled into an area, appeared to be kind of a commercial area.
Apartment
building, then he
yeah.
jumped out and he ran through an apartment kind of an area. And then he jumped a couple of fences. And then he got kind of around an IHOP, and then he got to on the right. Claim Jumper restaurant. This is on the right-hand part of your screen is going to be the inset of some of the, if you will, hits, runs, and errors of this pursuit. Thankfully, nobody has been injured.
And as we saw in a lot of that video, he was probably going on a rim with no tire for several miles, wouldn't you say, Jeff?
I would say it was at least 10, 15 miles. So yeah. And he was going slow and sideswiped some cars because he was losing control because he was riding on the rim.
With no headlights on.
With no headlights on. He decided he would ditch the vehicle, which you're seeing there on the right-hand part of your screen. But on the left is real time. This is live. We're going to wait until this is a code 4 and until the Anaheim police are the ones that are probably giving him directions. I don't know if they're doing it at gunpoint, but they certainly might, and they are probably yelling at him the directions on what he needs to do. Quite often we see, Serene, that suspects sometimes have to get up and walk backwards towards police. And that is a preferred way. Now, obviously, they're okay to go up there and to take him to custody in this way, but that does allow them, I guess, a better option if they can get him to stand up and walk towards them. They can control that suspect a little bit better. This way, they got to get to him, and you don't know if he has a weapon or a knife or anything that could be used against police officers. So typically, they want him to stand up, show his waistband, and show he has no weapons.
Keep his hands up.
And make him walk back, and then kind of make him, you know, do a number of things to make sure that he's been equalized, if you will. Neutralized, rather.
Right. Yeah, this pursuit again starting in Lakewood with LA County Sheriff's Department and ending up in Orange County with Anaheim Police. So we've crossed 2 counties here. He lost his right rear tire, sending sparks on these side streets, blowing through stop signs, making lots of turns into cul-de-sacs. And at that point, no black and whites, no ground units were there. But when he tried to get through this part of the parking lot, I saw at least 2, maybe 3 units right there on the ground, and they were ready to take him into custody.
Yeah, he bailed on foot, ran through a motel courtyard, then across Beach Boulevard into a parking lot of Claim Jumpers. That's a restaurant, of course, then near the McDonald's where he gave up, so that's where we are now. This location, roughly the 7800 block of Beach Boulevard. That's where this is, end of pursuit. But this is taking a little bit longer than what I thought, Serene.
Usually it's pretty quick.
Yeah, obviously we see 6 units there. I think they're starting to give him commands, and he appears to be complying, at least at this point in time. But I wouldn't be surprised if they want him to get up and kind of walk towards them and make him, oh, nice. He's
crawling.
This may be something that they want him to do.
Yes.
He left behind some sort of garment, but I would think, Serene, they'd want him to show his waistband at some point in time.
Usually that is the protocol that we see, with the hands up, showing his waistband so they can see that he doesn't have a gun, a weapon, a knife, something in his waistband. I typically haven't seen them give the command to crawl like this. But
well, sometimes they can't walk and they just crawl. Hey, Des, I hear you up there, so tell me what you think. And sometimes they do what they want to do, I guess, right?
Yeah, this is a weird one. I think they didn't want to. I think the officers didn't want to leave the cover of their vehicles and wanted this guy to come to them. And it looks like that is what was happening. They probably were a little nervous about that sweatshirt he had, thinking, you know, maybe he had a weapon or something there. So they wanted to wait for more backup. There's a couple of canines here, of course, and now that they've got the suspect closer, they should be able to walk in. I did want to, you know, what tipped me off when I reacquired the visual of this guy. Was his socks. You know, that's if it wasn't for those socks, it would have been difficult for me. I was happy to be able to help law enforcement, but I got to give credit to my pilots, Adam and Ryan, as well, because they were the ones that helped the airship basically give them the location. There was a Halloween decoration, a lamp pole, and we were telling law enforcement to go look at the guy there. And so, you know, even after he was able to evade authorities for a decent chunk of time over by that motel, it looks like we are finally going to have a code 4.
And there we go.
Yep,
and it's coming up on the top of the hour. We should say this is KCAL 9 News at 8 o'clock. 7:57 is your time. We've been in continuous coverage since about 7:30. I'm Jeff Vaughn, next to Serene Branson, as we are wrapping up this continuous coverage of the latest pursuit in LA County. This was a pursuit of a driver wanted for a stolen vehicle.
That's right. It started about 7:20. We got the call that it started in Lakewood. CHP officers took over this pursuit from LA County Sheriff's deputies who were on this suspect. He exited the 5 freeway, went onto the 91 freeway, then he got off in Orange County. And we know that Anaheim police, as well as CHP units, were overhead. They backed off those ground units for a while. We saw him right there. That shot on the right side of your screen is earlier, just a couple of minutes ago, I should say, where he pulled into that parking lot, exited the vehicle, ran through what we believe is either a motel or some kind of an apartment complex. He moved through the front of that building, it seems, made it through the courtyard, past that swimming pool, came out on the other side and kept going.
That's right. And, you know, sometimes your wardrobe gives you up. It was easy to spot this man because he had tall white socks. Everything else was dark in clothing. But those tall white socks with the black shorts kind of gave him away. And you could imagine when it comes to the darkness around him, those bright white socks really showed up. And that's how we were able to easily identify him. Got to give a lot of credit to Desmond Shaw tonight. He was overhead the entire time and actually helped law enforcement to get them in place so they could make this arrest. So obviously, we always want to help out law enforcement if we can. We're a partner of theirs when it comes to situations like this, when it comes to pursuits where there are times that they can't get to a position. If we can help them out, we certainly try to, and we were able to do that tonight.
Yeah, it was a matter of public safety. You know, when he's running through the parking lot like that, ran across the street, we saw him, ran through another parking lot. You know, you get a little nervous watching that because you never know if he's going to carjack someone or what's going to happen. But we're just glad to see that this came to a safe and peaceful end with Anaheim police taking this stolen vehicle suspect into custody. You
know, it's interesting. On the right-hand part of your screen, I just saw, as we see a replay of that, the first time I missed it, but there was a police cruiser that drove by him when he was on the sidewalk, and that must have been what prompted him to then sprint and run. Of course, that gave him away with the bright white socks, but as we see there were units in the area, but again, he crossed a number of parking lots. It's difficult for police to do that, and they were able to capture this person wanted for a stolen vehicle, code 4, and we're going to wrap it up here on KCAL 9.
Thanks, Desmond Shaw.
You bet. And welcome to KCAL 9 News at 8 o'clock. We are streaming live on CBSN Los Angeles. I'm Jeff Vaughn.
And I'm Serene Branson, in tonight for Susie Sa. 3 people are recovering tonight after explosions.